So I was thinking about what really makes Chicago special in March and St. Patrick's Day.
Go on.
I think it's the pride that we take into it at this point, right?
Probably.
Like I think now it's like we consider ourselves at least definitely in the top 3.
I
sure
think we're
number
number
one.
one. I think we're number one.
I agree, but I'm saying there would be some debate. But I think that's the thing. Like the city puts money into it when it comes to dyeing the river green. Everyone's in a good mood, and of course the Miller Lite that's served to everybody.
The absolute best. I think RA is going to take offense to this, but I would invite him out to Chicago to enjoy a Miller Lite on St. Patrick's Day. It'll change his life.
Because what I think, Chicago, Boston, and Savannah.
Savannah, Georgia, apparently.
Yeah, but Savannah's so small.
And it's south.
It's too hot.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't count. It's like it's like a gimmick for them. It's like part of our culture here.
Right. I'm saying,
part of our culture.
Was Savannah in the fugitive for their St. Patrick's Day parade?
No, it was not.
Yeah.
Checkmate.
We also have multiple parades.
That's true.
Multiple events.
We do, yes. But hey, no matter how you celebrate St. Patrick's Day, whether it be in Chicago, Boston, Savannah, it doesn't matter. It's always a good excuse to crack a cold one with the coolest people in your life. Miller Lite is the best. Make the moment even better every time with Miller Lite. Great taste, 96 calories, the official beer partner of the Chicago Bears. Chicago Bears. Go to MillerLite.com/stretch to find delivery options near you. Or you could pick up some Miller Lite pretty much anywhere they sell beer. Tastes like Miller time. Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. 96 calories and 3.2 carbs per 12 ounces. On that note, welcome to the stretch, everybody. A lot to get to. The Blackhawks made a big trade.
Yeah. Year 3 in the Portillo's house.
Yes, year 3 of the Portillo's house.
Opening ceremonies.
We are getting to some Bears talk. We are getting to some Cubs White Sox stuff. The Oscars is on tonight. We're recording this Sunday night. But as Chief said, we will start with being back in Arizona with Portillo's. The chocolate cake shake candle is lit if you're watching this on YouTube. It's great to be back, boys. Year 3, year 2 with Portillo's.
Yeah, landing here, leaving Chicago when it was, 20 degrees this morning, 30 degrees, and getting here, it was like, oh, it's 75 and sunny. The air just felt different. It was awesome to be back. And I do love spring training baseball. It's chill. It's fun. It gets you in the mood for summer. It's a little appetizer. We talked about St. Patrick's Day off the top, the unofficial start of summer, according to White Sox Dave, St. Patrick's Day. This, for me, is kind of it now, too.
Yeah, I would say I think we're all in agreement that the best live sport is baseball.
Are we?
I think we are. I would much rather go to a Cubs game than a Bears game for sure.
Yeah.
Unless if it was a big Bears game. But even then, though, the football product was so good on TV. Bulls game, obviously, that's without saying. I guess the only one that could really give it a run for its money is maybe a good Blackhawks game.
I'll say this. When both the Cubs and Blackhawks are good, I'd rather go to the Blackhawks. If they're both mediocre or bad, I'd rather go to the Cubs.
Yeah.
Yeah, winning always wins out.
No, I'm saying if they're both winning.
No.
If both teams are winning.
I would say Wrigley wins out in that scenario.
Yeah, I mean, it also comes to personal preference. Like, you like hockey better.
Yeah.
I like football better, but I still think whatever.
There's nothing better than slamming Miller Lite.
Yeah, you can. If the Cubs win 60 games, you can still go to Wrigley and have a great time.
Right.
If the Blackhawks are what they've been the last 5 years, and you go to the United Center,
it's a waste of
odds
money.
are it's the worst night.
It's
of the
not
year.
the same.
Yeah.
Now, my point of that being was going to a spring training game is one of those things that I've never done before this job. Did you ever go before?
No.
You have?
Yeah, ton.
It is weirdly amplified because you really don't care. It's spring training. There's guys that aren't going to make the roster, but there are guys that are, so that makes it cool as well. It is a vibe that is really unmatched.
It's nice.
Yeah.
It's just nice.
Yes,
Yeah.
it really is just nice. It's almost like, I don't want to say a little league game, but just a game that obviously no stakes. And you're just sitting there, the beer tastes a little better. And the weather is
It's a weather
perfect.
thing, too. You're outside.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's a reprieve.
Right.
I wonder if people from Florida or these warm weather places, if they go see their team play in spring training, if it matters to them.
Yeah.
No
the calmness is beautiful.
Yeah.
It's just really nice.
It's super laid back. It's chill. It's I love it.
Well, you
But,
still
like,
get all like the sounds and the smells of real baseball
that you
like-
haven't heard in
Right,
months and months because of the winter and we're all locked up. But like, if you're a baseball fan, the best part about it is just going watching and practice on the backfields. That's where you'll see
spring training.
Yeah, for spring training, because it's all free. You're 10 feet from these players, watching them like along the chain link fence, like they're little leaguers pretty much.
Yeah,
And
mitts popping.
a lot of them are 16, 17 years old. So
Yeah, because no other.
so they kind of are little leaguers, you know?
All right. Well, obviously, I thought we were all in agreement on the best sport to watch live. Are we in agreement that it's definitely the best preseason?
It's the only preseason.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's definitely not baseball or hockey or basketball or hockky.
Right. Yeah.
No.
Like, if you want to say NFL, but they don't even like.
But there's just something about it where it's like, at this time of year, what do you have? How many guys are in camp? 100?
Oh, easy. Yeah.
Like there's
Easy.
something cool about having the whole
Yeah,
organization in one place. So you have like, this guy's going to be great in 2027. This guy, Matt Shaw, whatever, can be great now. And it's like you get like the full vibe.
Right. You'll see, especially early in spring when they're really just getting reps, and you'll see like the Noah Schultz, who's the White Sox probably best prospect right now, facing off against like whatever all-star, the Dodgers or whoever. So it's cool.
Yeah.
It's cool.
I guess the NFL could give them a run for their money a little bit. Like, it is something where it's like, oh, the rookie quarterback's going to play 2 series.
For sure.
There is something really
But you don't
fun and
also
cool
you
about
never
that.
ever in a million years travel for an NFL preseason game.
No. And you'd be more than fine watching those 2 series.
Going to training camp.
Yeah. That's as close as it gets, probably.
Training camp for your own team, if it was an away site, would be a better experience than a preseason
That's
game.
a better way to put it.
Yeah.
That's a better way to put it.
But like, for all the faults baseball has, they kind of had nailed the preseason a little bit because it's monetized in a way,
Best thing they do.
It's it's
and there is something cool about
one
the
thing though.
stadiums.
It is way too fucking long. They
training?
don't need.
I feel like they need
almost
it though.
2 whole months. I mean, pitchers, yeah, but you're doing that on your own anyways. Especially in 2024, it doesn't need.
It's like the last week of February to
No, it's like
third week of
pitchers
March.
catches
Games at least.
It's like
it's the
the
week
20th of February through the last week of March. Now it used to be the first week.
That's
of
5
April.
weeks, dude.
But they report 2 weeks before that. They start playing games.
I feel like they report like Valentine's Day, like right after.
It's
the
like
Super
the
Bowl.
5th through 7th. I want to say.
It's for the best. It's for the best, Dave. Get
You gotta be
those,
game ready
get
come
those
April
guys
1,
going.
dude.
Yeah, of course.
Eloy should have been sent to fucking spring training
He
as
so
soon as the season ended.
Where
Minkata's
is Eloy
already
now?
hurt. He signed a minor league
Is he?
deal with the Orioles. Yeah. Minkata's already been hurt.
Well, I want to get
I
to
guess
more
he's
of
going to
that.
be back for opening day, but
We'll get to all that.
We'll see.
Let's wait for a second.
let's talk Blackhawks though.
Well, let's start with the Bears, and then we'll go to the Blackhawks. You fine with that?
I don't care.
Let's talk Bears because Trey Smith was franchise tagged by
Yep.
the Chiefs, so that effectively eliminates an option.
It does eliminate an option.
Yeah.
Well, technically, the Bears could offer him a contract, and the Chiefs would have the rights to match.
Yeah.
And if they didn't, they would owe them 2 first-round picks. So
Right.
technically,
Pass.
you're wrong, but it never happens. Obviously,
Isn't that what happened with the Bears, Packers, and Amos, the safety?
Yeah.
Am I right or wrong there?
it wasn't the same thing.
No.
Not
at
quite
all.
the same, obviously.
No.
I think he was a restricted free agent.
I forget
It's,
exactly.
it's
what
different than a
happened.
franchise tag.
Yeah. Regardless, that's how it is. So effectively ends,
You're right.
which
I don't know.
sucks.
That wasn't a franchise tag.
But yeah, I mean that's a lot of money for him. He's going to be the highest paid guard in football. So I mean, it kind of is what it is. Like they paid their guy
Yeah.
literal top dollar.
Yeah. Move on to the next guy on the list, and there's nothing you can do.
Yeah, there's nothing you could do. Anybody in the combine or draft wise kind of tickling your fancy at this moment?
Nobody does in the combine for me.
You're not a
personally.
combine guy?
Nah.
No. Especially, it kind of sucks that people are opting out of them so often now, and it's all about the
Out of the
pro
run
race.
because Genty didn't run, right?
No, Genty didn't run a lot of the big dogs. Like I don't think.
Marion Hampton ran.
Yeah, which the Bears met with.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like him. I think I might like him better.
Do ya?
Yeah.
North Carolina running back. People don't know who that is. Yeah, they met with him. I mean, they're gonna that's like. I just have a few quick talking points, and then we can get to the Blackhawks trade because obviously that's the most pertinent news. But like, I just want to say that again. I want to reiterate: the Bears talked to Genty again. Like, we have to be ready for the possibility that this happens, because I think it really might.
As I think we all said last week, it's just in Ben we trust at that point. He proved that it's that works in Detroit.
But he's not the same guy.
I know he's not the
same guy. He's not Jahmyr Gibbs. So I mean, sure, but if he takes,
who are you to say that though? If Ben Johnson's saying that,
I'm sure Ben Johnson would agree that they're not the same guy. Like he does not have that extra gear. He's almost like a hybrid of Monty and Jahmyr.
And listen, you got to do your due diligence. So a meeting is a meeting.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah,
meet with fucking 100 people,
exactly,
1,000 people.
You asked if anyone's tickling my fancy. Yeah. Another guy the Bears met with for an interview is Ty Warren. I love him. I love Cole. I love the idea of having just DJ, Rome, and 2 tight ends in a back, and that is your most multiple offense. You let Keenan Allen walk. Then you're helping your tackles. You're helping the run game. Did you see the reason he had a quote about why he wears 44?
No.
This is a meatball thing. I loved it. Okay, so he goes, I wear 44 because when I was a kid, my dad sat me down and watched John Riggins highlights. He goes, that's how you run with the football. And it's so ever since then, like and if you watch him, he tries
to hurt people.
Yes. And it's like, that's the kind of attitude I want on this team. And he was one of the best tight ends I've ever seen.
He was awesome.
He was awesome. Yeah.
I mean, he was 7th in the Heisman as a tight end. Like, has that ever?
Doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Very good, but still,
What?
The drop off from Bowers is still dramatic.
McShay's not saying that.
But do you agree with it then?
What?
Do you think?
I think Warren might be. Bowers was just so awesome this year too.
So awesome.
Yeah.
He broke every record.
He did. I know, but I do love the idea of having both. And then you saw what he did.
I know, and I can't think ends. That way. Like, it is what it is.
Yeah.
I went with Rome, and
but
we still like Rome. But
dude, Bowers wouldn't have done shit in Chicago last year. We would have been. What?
Come on, man! You can't say that.
We had a high priced free agent tight end who is in the receiving game. That's why they got him. And Cole Kmet, who had been very successful, who they re-signed to a new contract. Neither one of them did anything in that offense because they didn't feature the tight end. So I don't think Bowers would be breaking records. We wouldn't be talking about Bowers the same way.
I think that's fair.
I think Bowers is obviously awesome. I just don't think he would have had the same impact in the same rookie year that he had with the Raiders if he were in Chicago.
No, I agree.
Regardless, it'd be interesting, and it would be a lot of fun. Like, I don't think anyone but is that another cookies for supper type pick?
Which one, Warren or Genty?
Warren.
It is, I think.
I think so too.
But it's also why? Because you already have Cole.
Yeah.
You don't have another tight end on the roster, really.
I know, but I think it's the interior. It just has to get fucking addressed. If it doesn't get addressed another year, and it's another fucking leaky
there's
pipe.
No
100%.
way it won't. It might not work, but there's no way they don't.
I don't think that they're going to go into the draft without addressing it. So that's the thing where it's like, as the roster stands right now, Warren is absolutely a luxury pick. Cookies for dinner. You don't take him. You build out the offensive line. Assuming they spend in free agency on some interior linemen, then that opens up the possibility of Genty, Warren, best player available. And I do think that having they need a little bit more attitude, and they need a little bit more, kind of over the middle guys for Caleb. And we saw what he did with tight ends in Detroit. I would love to have that in Chicago.
Yeah, like hypothetically, if they do sign 2 interior linemen, they draft, another one in the second round, and they draft an edge in the second round too.
Yeah,
and then they would have the luxury to take someone like that at 10. But
yeah,
I don't know. It's hard because are we literally just talking about this because they're talking to everyone? Or is there actually some smoke here?
There could be a trade down possibility too.
Yep.
So Warren at 10, I do think would be crazy. Warren at 16, and if you pick up an extra third or something to make that trade, I think that actually makes some sense.
I did see a report that the Jags are locking in on Calvin Banks or Will Campbell So
odds are the top 2 tackles are not getting to 10. It seems like.
Yeah, which really sucks. There's a way that Mason Graham could fall back. I would.
That is the pick. That's the pick. Imagine him next to Gervon Dexter and
yeah, that's it.
Yeah, you do that. You sprint to the podium.
Sprint to the podium for him.
Agreed. If there's a way that one of those 3 guys drops on a 10, that's where I'm at.
Yep, I agree. I just feel like all 3 of those guys are going to be gone.
Yeah,
and I don't want like Will Johnson there, the corner from Michigan or something.
Yeah, most likely. Yeah, I mean, you need those 2 quarterbacks to get picked. I'm not even so sure that's going to happen either.
Yeah, I know.
Right? Like I could really see one of those guys sliding.
Totally.
Really sliding.
Yeah. Well, we'll see how dumb the Titans and Browns are.
Yeah,
that's what we need, and then maybe the Giants. We need some dummies around.
Yeah, and then my last thing before we get over to the Blackhawks is I am officially tired of the stadium talk.
Yeah,
like before I was like, all right, this is posturing and
Mr. Jerry broke the news.
I'm done. I'm sick of it. I'm officially sick of it. Pick a fucking spot and do it. I'm done with it.
I feel like it's done. We're going to Arlington.
Jerry knows people.
Mr. Jerry.
Yeah.
They submitted the traffic reports or whatever. It feels like it's done.
Fine. If that's the case, do it.
Yeah.
Break ground.
Yeah.
Let me see a fucking shovel in the ground. I'm sick of talking about it at this point.
So you don't want to go and put shovels in the ground?
I would love to if it's actually legit.
No, I mean us.
Sick. Yeah, I would love to if it's actually legit. Like I said, I'm just sick of the posturing. I'm done with it.
Yeah.
I don't know what's true. I don't know what to believe anymore. It sucks.
I think the downtown thing has always been posturing. I also think when your mayor, that is your partner in this, has a 6.6% approval rating, you might go back and look at the place you spent, $300 million on to buy. So I think there's a lot of different factors that play here. Arlington was always the right play, but they needed to kind of batter around Arlington to get the right deal, and they had to float Chicago. Like, fuck you guys. Well, it's always good to have real estate. We'll do a deal with Chicago, and they'll do all the infrastructure and whatever. And I think they eventually just bullied them into getting the deal that they wanted.
I agree, and that's how I've always thought.
And now Virginia's dead, and they're just like, it's off the races.
They won't do it.
I think that's part of it too.
Maybe, but I seriously did get to a point where I kind of hook, line, and sinker bought into the posturing. Like I kind of thought there was a realistic possibility, because you hear so many things just talking to people, right?
Yeah.
I really thought that there was a possibility that we're going to find somewhere on the lakefront. I don't know if it was an old hospital. I don't know where, but I was starting to be like, oh shit. This might actually happen.
This is one of those things too, where they do they had the design and the video. Those aren't cheap to do. So like I'm sure all the planning and the design and the videos and all, it probably cost them hundreds of thousands of dollars to float
to posture.
Yeah, and all the studies you need to do on multiple sites. And now I do feel like it does. To me, it does feel like this is when you start submitting like the traffic reports and all these other things. It seems like they're close.
It's gonna happen. Yeah.
Wait, hold on. Is that what Jerry said? The traffic reports?
No, he just said it's done.
I know. I talked to him too.
Yeah.
And he showed text messages from someone. Listen, he could be right. I'm not doubting his sources.
I believe Mr. Jerry,
because there was many people that were reporting that day.
Yeah.
But regardless, I'm sick of it already. Like, let's just make some progress. And
well, you're sick of it after 4 years?
Yeah, I'm shocked it's taken this long. It seemed open and shut once they brought the property.
Yep.
They fucking demoed the track, for God's sakes.
Yeah.
Like, what are we doing? Like, do it or don't.
We could have had 3 years of the track.
It's gonna be It's going to be a fucking Amazon shopping
everything in this
center.
godforsaken city takes forever.
Yeah.
But still, just get it done already. I'm tired of the reports. And I'm mostly sick of the word fucking posturing.
Don't posture.
Yes.
Yeah. No posturing.
Done posturing.
No posturing.
Before we get to the Blackhawks, Chicago winters can be brutal. Snow, ice, freezing temps. If you're thinking driving in this weather, I need a new Chevy, you're not alone. The right vehicle makes all the difference when it comes to safety, confidence, and comfort on the road. You saw the Chevy lineup at the auto show. Now it's time to take the next step. Need the power and durability of a Silverado, or the all-weather confidence of an Equinox or Blazer, or the spacious comfort of a Traverse, Tahoe, or Suburban, or maybe the sporty, city-friendly tracks perfect for navigating winter streets. your local Chevy dealer has exactly what you need to handle a winter like a pro. Don't wait. Head to ChevyDriveChicago.com. Browse the newest models, special offers, locate the nearest dealer, and start shopping online. Winter roads demand a vehicle you can trust. Find yours now at ChevyDriveChicago.com. Go do it. And
Good ad read, Ed. Good ad read.
Thank you, Dave. Good ad read.
It was an okay ad read.
Yeah,
What's not okay is the Chevy Tahoe we have out in the driveway. That thing is great. That thing has moved us around the Scottsdale area perfectly today. Just a gazillion square feet of room.
Yeah,
right?
It's huge.
Stuff.
Yeah.
Great stuff, Dave.
How was that segue into a different?
Good.
Yeah, not very good.
What's
Bad segue.
Bad segue.
Good ad read, bad segue.
segue.
That wasn't a good ad read. It wasn't okay.
Bad segue wasn't needed. On to the Blackhawks.
Yeah, let's.
I'll be honest, man. I was like locked in reading up about this trade. When it happened. This is an exciting trade to me.
Oh, it's huge. This is probably the happiest I've been with the Blackhawks in a long time.
Okay.
Because that Seth Jones trade, I think they actually ended up at the end of the day, they won that trade twice. So everyone hated that trade for the Blackhawks back when it was Adam Boquist and draft picks and whatever else was involved in that. And Seth, it didn't work out here. All those guys that the Blue Jackets got in that trade kind of fucking suck. So it didn't really hurt them in the long run in terms of the rebuild. Seth Jones, very good player, did not work out here. It was time for him to go. He was certainly overpaid. He's not really going to be overpaid by Florida. The Blackhawks are taking $2.5 million of that. That $2.5 million does not matter.
What's his hit? 10?
A 9.5.
9.5. Okay.
Yeah. So it's a 9.5. So they're eating. So now for Florida, it's 7 for the next 5 years. But the cap is going up so much that $2.5 million, which you can get a decent player for $2.5 million now. That's going to in year 3 of this. That's going to feel like a guy making $800K. Like it's like a nothing roster spot. So like I'm not even worried about that at all. And you got a 23-year-old potential franchise goalie and another first-round pick. So great job by Kyle. What were you reading about that you were so locked in?
Well, basically the hype around Spencer Knight when he came out, he's a first-rounder, 13 overall, was it?
Yeah.
13 overall. And he was a legit guy, like a legit prospect.
Mm-hmm.
The Panthers, I don't know, maybe their timeline moved, so they went to Bob.
No, it was they drafted Spencer Knight at 18. 18 is draft year. A week later, they signed Bob.
Oh, so that was
initially. Yeah. So, but goalies do take a long time. But it was people were like, oh, that's kind of weird.
Yeah.
Because it's an 8-year deal. If you take a guy 13th overall, you're hoping that he's in the NHL by draft year plus 3.
Yeah.
So then you'd still have 5 more years of Bob.
Mm-hmm.
So it just never, the whole thing was, and it was different regimes.
But they did platoon for a while early. And then all of a sudden it was just Bob's job.
Well, and Spencer Knight had some like kind of mental health issues. So he kind of fell out of it, and then they had other guys rotating through. Bob at the start of that playoff run, he was the backup. I can't even remember who the starter was, and Bob eventually got there. Bob is like such a light switch guy. Like he just doesn't care about the regular season, but when it matters, he turns it on, and he like damn near won the won the Conn Smythe. So he's. But regardless of that, this could also be like a 4D chess move for the Blackhawks too. Because you guys didn't watch the USA Canada. You guys know who Sam Bennett is, right?
Yeah.
So Florida Panther, tough as nails. He's a guy who fought Brady Tkachuk in the USA Canada. Plays mean, plays on the forecheck, leader, score you goals. Like the perfect guy. You can play anywhere. First line, second line, third line on the wing. Great player. I absolutely love this guy. He's an unrestricted free agent. So the Florida Panthers have done a great job managing their cap. The only time where they might potentially get squeezed is this coming summer because Sam Bennett's up for a new deal, as is Aaron Ekblad. So now they have $7 more million of Seth Jones too. So of all the teams, like they might be a team that if the Blackhawks want to come in for Sam Bennett and be like, we'll give you, because he's only 28, we'll give you 6 years and $9 million a year, whatever they want to do, because the Blackhawks have more money than fucking anybody going forward. They could just outbid the Panthers because they're now locked into Seth Jones. I do think this is a good trade for the Panthers in the short term too. They needed defensive help. Their top four is not what it was. They lost Oliver Ekman-Larsson. They lost Montour. So like that D core that won them a cup last year is depleted. Seth Jones now puts them back really in firm footing for being a Stanley Cup contender in the East. So it's one of those things where it's a good trade all the way around. The Blackhawks you love that guy Askarov, remember?
Yes.
The Russian goalie. And he went, I think, the year after Spencer Knight, but he became available. And the Sharks traded for him right before this season. And I was like, man, why the fuck are we not involved in going for Askarov if everybody knows he's available? All's well that ends well. Because those guys, to me, those are the two most hyped goalies probably since like Marc-Andre Fleury and Carey Price. The next two, and then there was kind of nobody. And then it was those two guys in kind of almost back-to-back years. So now the Blackhawks have a guy whose best hockey is definitely in front of him at 23 years old. 3 years from now when the Hawks are hopefully good again, he's a guy who could be like your 1A, let's go on a playoff run kind of guy.
Yeah, and listen, if this trade is talked about, if it's offered 100 times, you do it 100 times.
Yeah, and the fact I would have done it without the first round pick.
But let's get into that though.
Yeah.
First round pick's probably not going to be very good.
It's still a first round pick, so it's either going to be 2026 or 2027, depending on conditions. I think the Panthers might have to trade their 2026.
I'm reading it right now.
So, but regardless, that pick is important because I don't think they'll ever make that pick. I pray to God they never make that pick. That is a trade chip. They've made a gazillion first round picks. And they have another top 5 this year, plus another one that'll probably be in the 20s. They have enough first-round picks. It's time to start going out and getting some guys, offer sheets, because when you give an offer sheet, similar to what we're talking about with the Chiefs, depending on how much you pay him, you then have to give draft pick, a correlating draft pick compensation. So the more picks you have of your own and then others, you're just in a better position. Or the other thing you can do is hey, we don't want to go through this whole offer sheet process. Why don't you just trade us his rights, and we'll give you a pick this year instead of you having to wait until next year. So just having the more ammo to get deals done. That's what this is all about. So the fact that they have their goalie of the future and another asset to go and be super aggressive this summer and next summer. There is starting to feel like there's a path. They got a lot of problems. 98's one of the problems. People never want to talk. They get mad when I say that. I can't stop saying it because I watch him play and he does so many little things that he doesn't have to do and that piss me off. But if they get more help around him and they get a real coach in there who holds people accountable, hey, we're not playing this way anymore.
Yeah.
This pond hockey, as Biz called it. Then they're going to be in a very good spot.
But that leads me to the second potential issue here. Like I said, you do the trade 100 out of 100 times. You take this move.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, if this guy ain't playing for the Panthers, I'm a little nervous about what he's going to look like with those guys, with the Chicago Blackhawks.
Oh, he's gonna be shell shocked.
Yes,
he's gonna be.
Yes,
yeah, but
so he's gonna be fed to the wolves.
It's gonna that scene in Mighty Ducks where they tape Goldberg to the net and they just bomb him with shots. It's gonna look like that.
He's gonna think it's OT hockey. They're playing 3 guys every time.
That game that they played the other night against Utah. I think it was a record for shot attempts allowed. The shot attempts in that game were 93 to 31. It was unbelievable. Yeah. It was and they lost 2-1 because Soderblom was so good. But that was unbelievable how bad they were in that game. So yeah, Spencer Knight's going to have a little bit of shell shock. They have to massage the roster. Right now they're carrying 4 NHL goalies. The guy they signed as a free agent, Brossoit, whatever. He hasn't played a second in this season because he came in with a knee injury, and then it's just like, well, he needs another surgery, and he's still hurt. So they have 3 full-time goalies. They can't send Soderblom through waivers. They can't send anybody through waivers. So they got to figure out that there's some roster construction things that have to be done because all of those guys are signed through next year too. And so who knows what's going to happen. But Kyle, like you said, even though it's like it's a little clunky with how they're going to manage the roster, you cannot turn down a guy like this. And then I feel like the first round pick was basically just for retaining the salary. So, but kudos to them. They got it done. Seth Jones also forced his way out.
Yeah, that was going to be my question.
Considering that he wanted to go, you get that return with all that on the table. It really is close to a home run.
I was on my way to see Tom Segura at the United Center. My brother called me, and he was like, yeah, the Hawks traded Seth Jones. And I'm like, fuck, of course. Great. Okay. And I'm like, well, what was it? He goes, and he told me that the Hawks gave up a first-round pick. And I was like, don't love it, but fuck it, whatever. We got our goalie. And then it was like, then I get on my phone when I get to the arena, and it's like, wait, no, the Hawks got one back. Like this is a home run, absolute home run. So this is, if you're looking for rebuild accelerators, this is one of them.
And to be fair, there weren't many guards left at the ground zero of Seth Jones. I feel like you were still one of them. You liked Seth Jones still, and a lot of people turned on him, kind of saying that he turned into a dog.
People turned on him before he even got here.
Yeah, because the chart.
Yeah, there was that chart. Okay. Yeah. And like, here's the thing about Seth Jones. He has one glaring deficiency in his game. He's not the most agile skater, especially backwards. Okay. So like side to side, like, so he has a hard time gapping up, and which allows teams to kind of just enter the zone and set up. It's not great. Okay. You want a guy to go up, back, and kind of force guys wide, make a play at the blue line, and get it going the other way. He's never been good at that. He is very good at other things. Once the puck is in the zone, he's pretty good defensively. He's great carrying it out of the zone, breaking it out of the zone. So on a team like the Panthers, they're probably going to pair him with Gustav Forsling, and they're going to have no issues, and they're going to be like, oh yeah, he is good. Okay, he's still going to log you 25 minutes a night. He's still going to be very solid. He'll help you on your either first or second power play unit. He's a very good player. He's not a Norris. He was that contract. He was probably overpaid. It never actually hurt the Blackhawks because they sucked and Tazen Caden's contracts expired. It never mattered. But there was that chart, and people made up their minds about him before he played 1 second. So is he an all-star, superstar player? No. Is he a very good hockey player? Yeah. And there's a reason why the Stanley Cup champions just went out and got him, because they're trying to win, and he's good.
Yeah.
Fair point. People are idiots. That's the more time I spend online, the more I realize that people are idiots about this team.
Is hockey kind of falling the way of the NBA, where people are just not watching the games and they're just formulating opinions based on cherry-picking stats?
That's how it feels. It does feel like, I didn't know that was an epidemic in the NBA.
Oh, it's a huge epidemic.
Is it? I don't follow the NBA close enough, thank God. Yeah.
But you still know storylines. Everyone loves to talk about the NBA. Not many people like to. I should say not many people like to watch it.
Yeah.
There is a large contingent of fans that like to talk about it and like the storylines more than watching the actual games.
Yeah, put me in as one of those. I like the trade talks, but I don't know advanced stats. But
although I watched the Lakers the other night, they're fucking good.
Yeah, I bet.
Continue.
Yeah, but that is that's always been a thing with hockey and hockey Twitter. It's part of why hockey Twitter is so annoying, is that because there's just less fans. I think there's a ton of people who never played and got into it late, which I don't care. I love that. But they kind of shoot up like the hierarchy because there's not a lot of voices like there are for football, just shouting like, no, you're being an idiot, shouting them down. So they have like this outsized voice in the sport, but they're almost always wrong about everything. And they're wrong about Seth Jones. They're wrong on both sides of things.
And I'm ready to officially say too that the Seth Jones era was just kind of a fever dream. Like I brought this up. I wish I would have thought of this as a segment before the show. But if you could think of anyone off the top of my head, say it. Is there a higher priced player than him that will be a completely nothing memory?
For the Hawks or
any team? You know, like you could say. I mean, it's trending that way for Patrick Williams, but $80 million is still not 9.5 for hockey.
Comparatively, yeah.
What?
Like who is? I mean,
he's been the
Andrew
highest paid.
Benintendi?
No, that's not the same.
Yeah, I don't know if
it would almost be like, for you, might even be like a Michael Kopech thing. Like that one, not just the money, but like the hype, and he came in guns blazing, striking everybody out his first little bit, and then he just kind of disappeared and was gone. And then he pops up and he's on the Dodgers and he's winning the World Series.
They never paid him though.
I know they never paid him, but
Soriano would count because they made the playoffs twice with him.
Yeah.
I'll never think about Seth Jones ever again.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And he got paid
you got big money.
What is that? It's got to be a top 5 deal in Blackhawks history, maybe.
Third highest ever.
It's third.
Yeah.
Behind
So
Taves and Kane.
Taves and Kane, and then him.
It's gonna be like if you have kids, they'll ask you like, what happened with that one, Dad?
Right.
You're like, yeah, I don't know.
Jeremy Collison.
Yeah, I don't know. It really is.
Another fever dream.
It's a good question.
Yeah.
Like, is there another high-priced player that is just not good, not bad, not a bust, not good, but just is going to be like?
I got one for the Hawks.
Memory.
I got one for the Hawks. They came in the same time immediately after the lockout. This will probably not mean anything to you, but people were very excited when they signed Nikolai Khabibulin. He had just won the Stanley Cup, the Bulin Wall in Tampa.
Yeah.
And then they also signed Adrian Aucoin, who's a defenseman,
that too.
who he had one hardest shot in the NHL All-Star game. So people were like, oh, fuck yeah, shoots at 100 miles an hour. And they were horrible the entire time. Like, they were in that kind of dead era from 05 until
Khabibulin was horrible.
Khabibulin,
he actually had a good year at the
end. He had a very good year.
Yeah.
The year they went to the conference finals.
Then he got hurt, right? Or something.
He got hurt, and they brought in Hue.
Yeah.
And then they let him walk, and they had Niemi come in the following year.
Seriously, Boozer maybe.
Yeah, but they had good teams.
They had good teams, but he was such a. Along the pecking order, it was Rose, Noah. And
But do you remember? Wasn't that the same summer when they were after all the big dogs, LeBron, Wade, Bosch, and then they got Boozer? So no matter what, he felt like a disappointment
for sure. But
Seth Jones did not feel like a disappointment.
Yeah, they definitely did pay him.
Yeah,
a good amount of money.
Yeah.
It's just, I would love for a listener out there to equate this. Who is the most? Not a bust or not. It's just the most nothing I won't remember your era. I won't remember your stuff.
But this, I'm trying to think of a bear, and one that popped in my head that doesn't really fit because it was more of a flame out, but he was spectacular. Was Brandon Marshall?
I don't think that fits. He was awesome.
He had a couple but it was such a flame out.
Yeah.
He was so good, but he was only really so good for that 1 year.
I think the problem you'd have with that argument is that is the best. Bears offense
of all time
of our lifetime, and probably they were the number
but
2
they
offense.
Didn't do anything.
Who
I know they went 8-8, and they Chris Conti.
I think the most forgettable era ever was the Matt Barkley era of the the John Fox era. Those are the most. Who was the highest paid free agent on those teams?
I remember
because I'll never remember those teams.
He didn't get a mega deal, but I remember Pernell McPhee was really good.
Yeah, that's a shout.
And then he got hurt.
He's the idiot who got hurt.
No, that was
that's the
Lamar Houston.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay, you're right.
Yeah, but he was a big.
Pernell McPhee was the Ravens guy.
Yes.
Yeah.
He was really good, and then he got hurt. But he was
there
was a year or two stint there where he was the best player on the team, at least the defensive side of the ball. But the Bears don't really
They don't splash it really.
They don't splash it like that.
Because I was gonna say, but because Khalil Mack came in and he was so awesome for 1 year.
Yeah,
he was awesome,
and they made the playoffs.
I know,
and I'll remember that 18 defense as being
they were studs.
Didn't he win defensive MVP that year or close to it?
I don't know if he did. He didn't.
He was in the convo if he wasn't.
Yeah,
he's shot out of a cannon to start the year.
He was awesome, but I don't know.
Yeah, man. I think you might hit the nail on the head. There's just. It's try to remember something good from his time here, and it's you can't.
Yeah. I'd like to look back maybe at Fukudome and see if he was just sure he didn't live up to expectations, but was he that bad if we look back at his stats? Was he that bad?
Yeah, he was pretty
maybe
bad.
You could be right.
He was pretty bad.
Yeah. I don't know.
That opening day though.
That opening day.
Did the Sox sign that fucking idiot too?
Probably.
Eric Gagne. that opening day.
Yeah.
Adam Dunn.
That was another name I had in my head.
That's not a bad call.
So
the White Sox have probably...
I forget, but I don't know why. I looked up his stats yesterday. He hung him up at he didn't need to really. He probably would have signed. He would have had 500 home runs if he kept playing probably.
Really?
He had 464 or something.
Yeah.
Didn't he hit 198 his last year?
No. First year with the Sox, it was a big deal because they needed the lefty power bat, and they signed him to, I think, a 5-year, $65 million deal, which was a big deal at the time. And I'll look up his stats. I want to say he hit 150.
Yeah.
With a 300 slugging and he did walk a lot still.
Yeah, I know.
But the next year he hit 40 something bombs. He had a couple comebacks, but that was the name in my head for sure. Adam Dunn.
Yeah. Did they make the playoffs with him?
Fuck no.
No. That era they didn't make the playoffs?
No.
Yeah, I mean.
Yeah, maybe him.
He might be a good candidate because he got 5 years, $50 million or something.
Yeah.
I think 5 for 65, yeah.
Yeah, so he may be a good candidate, but still, even though he was, maybe it's just his character was higher and he hit bombs, so. But
yeah, Seth Jones is not exactly an electric guy out
Yeah.
there, and his personality is basically a zero. I feel like the 3 most memorable quotes in the media he had were all in the last week.
Mhm.
He's basically doing the thing from Slapshot, trade me right fucking now.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It was he was a good player in the wrong system, the wrong team. He was brought in here to try to get Tays and Kane one last playoff push.
Yeah.
And then they had Jeremy Colleton. So it was just never going to work.
It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Speaking of Don, speaking of Arizona, speaking of the White Sox, speaking of spring training, any kind of final marination after we talked about the Ishbia stuff a couple times last week?
No. There was supposed to be a deadline for the league and
on Friday.
Friday, yes. Of last week, we're recording this Sunday, so 2 days ago, there was supposed to be a deadline on the league to approve the sales to the minority shareholders. Haven't heard a peep. Not a leak, not a peep, not a news article, not a tweet, not a blue sky, nothing. It's dead silent. So I have no idea what's going on. Maybe we'll find some. I would imagine stuff starts trickling out this week, but
he's got a house out here. He owns his sons. Let's go knock on his door.
Yeah, we could. Yeah. He's probably got one on the top of Camelback or something. But it's good news. It hasn't fully synced in yet because it's not going to be, nothing's going to happen for another 5+ years
or more.
But I do think we're going to start to I think this is going to be a stadium play by all accounts. So we will see. I don't care where they put the stadium. I don't care if it's in Bridgeport or Arlington Heights or fucking Warrenville or
Soldier Field, whatever.
I just win baseball games. That's all I care about. And if you got we know the formula to do it.
Has that given you a shot in the arm at all? Or are you still I fucking hate this team?
They're gonna lose 100 games this year.
Yeah.
They're going to lose 100 games next year. Mm-hmm. And then 2027, I don't even know if there's going to be a season. So
lockout?
Yeah. So by that time, hopefully this Justin Ishbia cat is the controlling owner. Yeah. And then we'll just start clean. Yeah, we'll start clean.
It would be funny
with a new baseball life. It'll be the second half of my baseball life. It
would be so funny if the White Sox build this farm system the next 2 years and it becomes universally renowned as
it's already a top 5 or 7
right
system.
I know
which honestly
but it'll only improve the next couple of years. Mm-hmm. And then it's all right, we're ready to go and contend, and then they cancel
that's my and we're hopefully talking to Chris Getz this week as a little teaser, I suppose, but that's gonna be one question I have for him is we as fans can see the writing on the wall from both the league perspective and with how you guys have operated. We're reading the tea leaves. You guys are trying to work on bringing these guys like Colson Montgomery, Braden Montgomery, Noah Schultz, and whoever else in the farm system. You're starting to matriculate them into Chicago as soon as this year. You're not spending any money in the free agent market to complement them with good players. So by the time you are ready to do that, you're hypothetically just going to be looking to trade him again, probably, right? Because then they're 2 years away from being free agents themselves, and you're going to have to pull the same shit that you pulled with Garrett Crochet.
Unless you have Ishbia.
Yeah.
But it does feel...
That's what we asked Dan Hayes this last week, and this is something that I don't have an answer on yet, and I don't think we will have an answer on for a while, is if and when he is like number 2 in line or number 2 in the organization, will he just start injecting his capital into payroll at the big league level? I don't know.
Seems like he can't.
Right.
And listen, we all know the crux of the issue. We've talked about it ad nauseum on the show since we've been doing this. And Jerry Reinsdorf's the worst, and that's just a fact. But
even the way he sells the team is such a cock tease.
Yeah, for sure.
And, hey, you want to hear something funny? And I wasn't going to bring this up at the start of the show, but apparently the Glendale, their facility out in Glendale, Arizona, like they are so indebted to the city because it was like a heist of the city of Glendale. With the stadium and they guaranteed that it was going to do this for the economy and guaranteed this many jobs, and it's just done none of that.
Well, I'll tell you what. You say what you want about him as far as putting a winner on the field or on the basketball court. You can't say the man is not an elite businessman.
Because I know how to make money.
He's an elite businessman. But what I want to say, though, and I know kind of last year, Getz sold us on, and a lot of people within the White Sox organization sold us on cleaning up the culture, signing some veterans, and that is going to take care of some of the bullshit. It did not, but we thought that you said the prospect pool is what 6 or 7 in baseball.
Some higher.
They were able to build that up a lot quicker than I think you even anticipated.
When you have a player like Garrett Crochet who's making $800,000, that's very easy to do.
But you didn't have a top 10 pick. There were some hamperings at making this happen too.
Yeah, I mean, and with the Ishbia rumors, it's weird. But here's what those are all players that they like. I could have made that trade, as could anybody have made this trade in this room.
So you're saying it's like a
that
Ryan
you could have
Poles
traded Chris Sale for.
Yeah, just give me 2, 4, and 6.
Yes, exactly.
I get it.
So, but they had it seems like they struck gold with Noah Schultz, who is a local kid, obviously. It came out of nowhere. I'm like, they drafted who with their first pick? A couple years ago, he looks like he's going to be a freak of nature. Same with Hagen. But, when I watch a player like Hagen Smith, have you guys watched him play at all?
No.
He's a Carlos Rodon clone. He's a lefty that throws mid-upper 90s with a disgusting wipeout slider, violent delivery. Anybody with just any modest amount of baseball acumen can look at him and be like, that's a top 5 pick. You're not going to have to develop him a lot because he's already there. Go and let him strike out, 200 hitters a year. Like that. My problem is the guys that they've brought in, any assholes can do that. They haven't brought in, they haven't found guys still. Where's all the fine guys? We talk about the good Rays or the good organizations like the Rays and other Brewers, Reds. They find guys.
And
the White Sox have had to trade for guys that are already established as prospects.
If you're going to be operating in a deficit because you won't give out a fucking, a contract that's in the $100 million, you need to find guys.
Yes, and maybe this is only year 2 on the job for Chris Getz. Maybe those guys are in the system. We just don't know about them yet. But they got to find guys.
But they have guys. But they do, like you said, regardless of how they got them, and anyone could have done it. You just close your eyes, throw it at a dartboard. There have guys you are excited about now.
Yeah, definitely, for sure.
And we couldn't say that.
And here's the thing. Here's the thing, though. I just talked about Noah Schultz and Hagen Smith. Noah Schultz is a 6'9" lefty. But weirdly, you think of a 6'9", he's, I think, 19 now, probably 20. He was a high school pick. You think they're going to be gangly and uncoordinated and have to fill into their bodies. He has razor sharp control and unbelievable body mechanics where he just repeats his delivery so consistently. That he's going to be a fucking top of the line starter. Injuries, concern aside. Same with Hagen Smith. You can pencil him in. He'll be a good major league pitcher. You already had Crochet. There's 3 guys right there. And but like, there's your rotation for 2024 or 2025,
And then if you could supplement with
come
some
June.
bats,
Nolan Schultz is going to be in the rotation this year.
I wouldn't be. I mean, he dominated Double-A last year. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets a small cup of coffee at the end, but they're going to be careful with them as they should. I think he only threw 85 innings next year, so probably only 110 this year, with maybe some of them coming in Chicago, maybe not. But my point is, like, I was, in spite of what they got for Garrett Crochet, which seemingly was a good player, I still think they should have extended him. I understand why they didn't. I understand fans' perspectives for why they didn't, but like, fuck that.
I also think it's harder to find those guys, So it's like it's better if you have them, just keep them.
Exactly.
It's hard because whoever you trade for them, at some level, they are just a scratch ticket.
Yeah, but I think that's one of those two where I don't think we knew the full story. Shit was getting weird there. I don't think he wanted to be here anymore.
No, of course not. He didn't want to be here either.
He probably knew he wasn't going to get paid here.
Well, of course, yeah.
Right.
So you might as well kind of. Yeah.
No, I understand both sides, but if you make him an offer he can't refuse, then he's a happy guy.
Correct.
And the timing was so shit. They just gave all those guys those bridge deals.
Yeah.
And
it's like
you just knew they weren't going to do. I don't know.
Yeah.
I get it though, Dave. I think I'm happy that you seem a little more, not excited, but more reason to care, more reason to watch, and more reason to be bought in versus last year.
No, last year it was so unwatchable in every single way. This year's not going to be much better though. I'm still not happy. I'm still very upset with the organization. But like, after going through everything as a fan over the last 36 years, I'm including because all the history of the White Sox, like, all led up to this point. Like, I do think 2005 gave Jerry Reinsdorf the blueprint for how he has handled the last 20 years. And it's all kind of coming together, and it all makes sense to this point, and you can point out what works and what absolutely doesn't, and who the problem is, and it's Jerry Reinsdorf with how he has called the shots. I mean, I don't even want to say him calling the shots. It's like,
he sets the tone for the
yeah,
organization.
And it has to be nice too, though. You brought it off at the top of the show. All these guys just continue to get hurt, and you don't have to think about them.
That is really nice. Well, I think about it in the like laughing manner at this point. Like,
who's gone down?
Mikado is hurt, but like I guess he's going to be ready for opening day. I
don't know this, but I'm sure Eloy's hurt.
I don't know this either, but I'm also pretty sure he is.
He's got to be hurt.
Robert's smoking the ball for the Sox. That is, and you know what? That is someone they should trade. I think they should. Yeah.
I thought you were firmly on that side of the fence.
No, he's
that feels like a new development.
He's volatile. He had a bad year last year. He also doesn't want to be here. I do think he has MVP type years left, maybe many of them, but let him get hot and then deal him.
So like this coming deadline?
This coming year, because of the health mostly.
Yeah. That's a concern. And then I saw Madrigal's probably going to miss the whole year because he busted his shoulder.
Yep, Madrigal's out for the year, but he was on. He wasn't playing anyways.
Yeah,
that was such a bad pick. I saw Zach Collins had an Instagram story a few months back, and he said something funny. He's like, you could vote. It was during November. He's like, you can vote for Trump and I don't care. You can vote for Kamala. I don't care. But if you buy insurance from someone else, I will hate your guts for the rest of my life. So it was something like that. He's selling insurance or something. That was the first round pick.
I did not know where you were going with that. That was an interesting lining of the plane.
It was him making fun of himself for what he's doing with his life now. Yeah.
No, I got you. So I don't know. I really don't have much for the Cubs. I'm excited to get this loan this week, though.
Yeah.
And the more time passes, I really think
I got a couple questions for you guys.
Gonna be pretty good.
What do you want to hear out of Getz when we speak with him?
I feel like I got a little swindled by him last year. Like, I thought he came off so well.
I think that he swindled himself big time.
Okay. Because he was like, I always buy into the culture talk.
Yeah.
But, and
and for what it's worth, based on guys not on the team but are in the locker room, the culture is better across the board. Not that
that's stunning considering they won 40 games.
Yeah.
I don't really want to say what I want to hear from him because I don't,
Yeah.
There's not really a way I want him to point his conversation, like before I talk to him. Like,
well, what
I'm not going to say he's going to listen to this or anything, but you never know.
I wonder if he feels any pressure because he has to operate in a certain way, which is the Jerry way, and he's very much handcuffed by that. But at the same time, he's got a new boss announced that will be coming in, so it's like he has to have.
I think that's fair.
Camps. I feel like that's.
I hadn't thought about that.
Navigate.
Yeah, maybe he wants to bring his. I mean, he will
probably. Yeah,
like if this status quo is what it is,
right,
and they're losing constantly, I'm sure he'll want to.
Correct. Mm-hmm. So then he feels more pressure to be more aggressive, or maybe he feels more pressure to hold on to Louis Robert because he's going to keep us. He's going to win us some games, and I got this other new guy coming in looking over my shoulder.
Yeah, maybe. I hope he doesn't operate like that. I hope he operates for what's best for the
it's got to be awkward,
near-term and long-term health of the White Sox organization. However, human spirit says that might not be the case. I don't know that. I would be if you know, it's natural to look
totally
over your shoulder when there's a new sheriff in town. So,
For sure.
that's still years away.
What were you going to say about the Cubs though?
The more time goes on, the more hopeful I am.
The Cubs are going to be really good.
I really think so. The Cubs have been, and I'm not trying to make excuses, but I really think they've been a large product of just bad luck. They have never clicked at the same time.
Yeah.
When the rotation was fucking humming, it was the bullpen.
Yep.
When all the pitching was humming, they couldn't fucking hit. All three phases were never on the same track at all.
Last year, you're saying?
Last year, or even
ever.
the end of end of 23.
Yeah,
they were just never on the same.
And they fell apart at the end of 23 too.
Yeah,
yeah, and it's like, and they have had some of those injuries. Like Ben Brown looked fucking electric, and then he had that weird neck thing, and then now it's like, do you have Ben Brown, Cade Horton, and Wicks? Wicks was hurt. He came out his rookie year, looked awesome, and then he got hurt. Mm-hmm. So it's like you have like a lot of good young arms, and then Kyle Tucker.
Yeah, and and the lineup is what I feel best about that's going to click. I am weirdly a little concerned about the rotation. Are you?
Why? You don't trust Steele and Tyon to keep it going?
I love those guys. I trust them a lot, but like Shota, for instance.
Yeah.
Same thing, like burst onto the scene, was fucking awesome. And he did kind of come back to life, you know?
He had a fucking great year.
He had a great year, I know. But, year two,
but don't
shit does happen.
Totally. Don't you feel, but it's not like he's, what is he, 30? So it's not like year two of like a kid. Guy. Yeah, it's like he's been a pro for a long time. And I do think their young arms are going to.
But that's what, like, even talking last year with Cerami, like, that was the situation where we didn't feel best about. It's like, especially if someone goes down, what do you know? Steele went down game one.
Yeah.
But they held up as strong as they could. And I think, not as strong as they could, they held up great.
They held up great.
They were a great staff.
They were really, that was, I mean, how many games did they lose? Like 3-1, you know? Like a lot. So, I don't know. I think they're going to be good. I'm having a hard time being emotionally invested in this coming team because I've convinced myself that Tucker's not signing.
Yeah.
So it's like, why the fuck am I going to get all hyped up about this team?
Why is that? Because you think one of the big dogs are just going to
I think he will get to free agency, and then the Cubs will not pay what it takes to get him.
and the Yankees are the Red
What
Sox.
if Ishbia swooped in and stole him from the Cubs as a statement signing?
That would be unreal.
Jerry would never let it happen.
So unbelievably back. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see. Regardless, I'm excited to get out the Sloan.
Yeah.
I'm excited to get out the Camelback. One note about the Bulls: they are an absolute lock to get the 10 spot now.
Great.
They get in the play-in because Joel Embiid shut down. So the Sixers are not going to just magically turn it on, and that sucks.
Yeah.
The fucking Bulls.
Good thing they traded for their own pick back.
The fucking Bulls.
Yeah.
I guess Levine might be considered into that conversation.
Yeah, he's a
probably
great one
that
for
guy.
that. Yeah.
Got fucking what, 200 and something million?
Never
like,
did
we?
absolute dick.
Yeah, like what are we gonna remember from that? Like in 10 years, what are you gonna remember from this era? Yeah, it's probably
it's
probably
those two.
Him. I'll remember
Yeah.
the Bulls getting the guy that won the dunk contest. He won it. Right?
he
Back-to-back years, didn't he?
He lost. Bazalis?
Oh.
No,
No.
Levine's won a dunk
Oh
contest.
yeah, the
Yeah.
guy who won the dunk.
Yeah.
Yeah, what you're saying. Yeah, probably is Levine. Oddly enough. All right, then we can wrap this up. Unless anyone's anything else.
Nope.
Nope.
Hopefully, a lot of good
Yeah, and if you're out here, let
White
us
Sox
know.
shit this week. And thank you to Portillo's.
Yeah, thank you to Portillo's. Go get your Portillo's. It always sounds good. Get that beef. Get that hot dog. Get that dessert, man.
You had that cheddar croissant.
Yeah, you were like, you always get. I was like, Chief, don't sleep on it. A lot of people know about it though. Cheddar croissant is not it's not a secret menu item or nothing.
No.
But regardless, go get some Portillo's, and yeah, we'll be here all week. We'll hope to see you guys out there. See you next time.